let's unbox the new MP5A5 next generation from Tokyo Marui. Now, as you'll see, the box is slightly beat up, but that's because it's been behind my bed for the last few months. So, let's have a look. The first thing you'll notice over here is it has the M system. This is a new inclusion on this SMG. It is a fuse, it's a MOSFET, and an electric trigger, I believe. Okay, let's open it up. So the first thing you'll notice here is the instruction manual is included right here. This took me a little while to find, so it is important to read this because this gun doesn't operate like a regular AEG. Now, the first thing you'll notice is, oh wow, it comes with 2 magazines. It doesn't. There's only 1 magazine. This here is just like an insert. You can leave 2 magazines here if you like, if you don't have a gun bag, but yeah, it seems very decorative. The next thing you'll notice over here, it comes with some BBs. These are just regular Tokyo Marui BBs. And you know, there's a muzzle cap too. The next thing you'll notice is this little guy here. This here is how you attach a suppressor or a silencer to your SMG. I'll show you how to put it on later. Okay, now let's take the gun out. As you'll see, it's secured here with these Velcro straps. Let's take them off. Okay, wow. So like the first thing you notice when you pick this up is it's heavy. It's really heavy. Let's see if we can do the HK slap. Oh, that is fantastic. Yeah, that just feels fantastic. This thing's been designed for the HK slap. There's actually a 2-part spring system in here. So when you pull this back, you notice it reciprocates to here, then here. So you can slap the hell out of this thing. Alright, so let's see how to use it. The first thing that you need to do is put a battery in. Push this little lug here. And you can access the battery. I like to use a LiPo battery with this. You can only use 7.4s. You cannot put an 11.1 in this. Okay, let's connect the battery. You need to put this part in like this first, then just push it up. The spring, I usually put it in from the left. Okay, let's try to fire it. Oh, that selector switch is fantastic. Oh, that click is really good. Alright, let's try. Hey, it's not firing. That's because you need to cock it first. Hey, it works. Now, if you want to disable this feature, you can cock it 3 times. And then you'll see up in the mag well here that there's a blue light. Now it just fires as a regular AEG. Ah, that's fantastic. Now, if you want to attach a tracer, you need to use this guy. Just screw him on. There you go. Now, it just goes over the muzzle, and you pull it back here, and you just turn it. There you go, it's locked. Nice. Let's compare this to the regular Marui MP5. Here we have my regular MP5 high cycle, and you can see, you know, they're visually very similar, but the difference between the quality of the build is just light and day. Like, this thing here feels like it's a kilo. It feels almost like the boys' MP5 gun. It's incredibly light, and it just feels like a toy. Like, it's fun, I enjoy playing with it, and it's great because your arms don't get tired, but it feels like a toy. When you compare it to this thing is heavy. This thing, it just feels legit. There is a complete difference in the quality of the build. Alright, the next thing that I really like about this is the 3-round burst. 3-round burst is just so much fun. Here, check this out. Fantastic. Alright, the next point is small, but I think it's important. When you grab the handguard here, it doesn't creak. There's no noise, it just feels solid. It's really nice to hold. Next up is the stock. It may look flimsy, but this thing is solid. Feels as good as my M4 stock. It's nice. Another thing I really like about the gun here is the fire selector. This fire selector is just so nice. It just snaps into place and it does not budge. It's so much nicer when you compare it to the original MP5. Hey, let's do that. So here's the original MP5. Look at this movement here. It's kind of loose. It doesn't really lock into place. Like, it's got a nice clicking sound, but it still feels like a toy. This is just fantastic. It's such a good sound. And it's solid. It really stays there. The next thing that I really like about this is the trigger. This gun has a fantastic trigger. It has an electric trigger, so it's really snappy. Here's it on semi. And you don't need to change a thing. It's perfect just the way it is. Alright, the next thing I really like about this gun is the accuracy. In Japan, we're limited to 1 joule, so we can't go overboard. And 40 meters is basically the max engagement for most guns. This gun will do 40 meters out of the box, basically pinpoint accuracy. It is on par with any of my modified guns, and it is an absolute joy to shoot. The next thing I really like about this gun is the magazine. It is a really nice magazine. It feels realistic. It's metal, it's well built, it doesn't feel like it's a toy. And best of all, it's got the bolt catch. So when you run out of bullets, it's not going to fire anymore. The mid caps have 72 rounds and the high caps are 200 rounds, I believe. It's very hard to find these magazines. I've got 4, but I want more. And so far I haven't been able to find any. So if you find some of these magazines, buy them because they're very hard to find. Okay, so what don't I like about the MP5? Alright, there are 1 or 2 small gripes I have. So the first one is here with this sling attachment. Because of the sling attachment here, it makes it difficult to use a magazine coupler. Sure, you can do it, but you have to be very precise about how you use the magazine coupler. Otherwise it just won't go in and it hits on this part quite a lot. Okay, next point. It's a small point, but the mags aren't compatible. This is normal for next generation Marui stuff not being compatible with the standard ones. But if you have a regular MP5 magazine, it will not be compatible, and you'll be able to tell because you've got the bolt catch. Another thing that I don't love about this is it's quite hard to find a mount. The mounts for the regular Tokyo Marui are not usually compatible. This is because the size is slightly different because this is a 1-to-1 replica. So finding a mount can be difficult. I have about, I think I have about 6 MP5s and they all have mounts, but I can't use any of them on this. So I had to go out and buy a new mount. So there's that. This here is the mount I ended up with. Next, this is a small issue. These are all small issues, but I don't like the TRILUG adapter. When you put it on, I don't know, it just doesn't look great. I prefer the original style where you can just screw directly onto the muzzle. This issue here is really for all Tokyo Marui next generation, they're very, very hard to upgrade internally. It has a lot of new electronics. I don't dare open this gearbox. I watched a YouTube video of someone doing it and it looked incredibly complicated. I know my way around a V2 gearbox, but this here is just a completely different level though. So you might be able to get some modifications done by a tech, but really just if you buy this, plan on using it stock. Okay, the next issue has to do with the battery. This is really strange and it's something that I've only encountered with this gun. But number one is it hates the cold. If it's below like 10 degrees, this gun will not fire. I actually had to warm the gun up and warm the battery up in my hand until they both got around to 20 degrees and then it was able to fire. But in the winter, this thing would not fire. I took it to 2 games in the middle of winter and it refused to do anything. It just stayed in my bag the whole day. The other point with the battery is it doesn't like to be transported with the battery attached. Normally, I'll connect my battery in the morning and then I'll take my gun to the game with the battery attached. But if I do that with this gun, when I take it to test fire it or to chrono it, it doesn't work. It just is dead. I have to take off the handguard and I have to reattach the battery. And if I do that, it works perfectly. I'm not sure if this is a problem with my gun or if it's a problem with all of these guns. But I took it back to Tokyo Marui and asked them about it. And they said the gun was functioning normally. So I guess it's normal. All right, so those are the wins and losses for the Tokyo Marui MP5A5 next generation. Okay, so final thoughts. The MP5, it's fantastic. It's my favorite gun. It's my best looking gun. It's my most realistic gun. And it's just so much fun to play with. If you can find one, buy it. You won't regret it.